WCIA 3 News.
Why isn't this person identified yet when the police already saw the video?
A frightening moment caught on film as a truck drives through a crowd of protesters. Why some say police should have tracked the driver down.
School starts soon, but the classroom could look and feel different. How some districts plan to bring students back inside safely.
Just knew that there was, they couldn't find her. She was in the water.
Tragedy strikes at Sullivan Beach, what the family of a 10-year-old girl is feeling after she drowned.
You're watching your local news leader. This is WCIA 3 News at 10.
Instead, that he would just plow into innocent people.
Tense moments in protest to a former police officer who says members of Black Lives Matter are not welcome inside his barbershop. Good evening. I'm Mark Maxwell.
And I'm Jen Lask. The new members-only policy at Rogue Barbershop Company incited protests and calls for change. The owner of the barbershop says he doesn't feel safe around members of Black Lives Matter or Antifa. WCIA 3's Jamie Mays is live in the newsroom tonight. And Jamie, this sparked a tense moment last night when a truck drove through a crowd of people.
That's right, Jen. The protesters tell me they were rattled and concerned for their safety, but they didn't let that frightening moment keep them from protesting. They were back outside that business tonight. People in Champaign are writing a message they say deserves to be heard. Black Lives Matter. They're responding to the owner of the Rogue Barber Company, who announced a members-only policy. In a Facebook comment, the company said it bans anyone who says they are a member of what he considers, quote, violent extremist groups, including but not limited to Antifa and Black Lives Matter, end quote. The policy drew protesters on Saturday, including campus minister Nate Brantingham. During the protest, he says he saw a man leave the barbershop and get into his truck.
Was not accosted in any way by the protesters, went straight into his truck, backed out of the parking space that's there behind me. There were protesters there directing traffic who were asking him to turn around and head out that way since the majority of the protesters were over here for the protest.
He drove right through the protesters. Police say no one was hurt. A spokesman with the department says they didn't have enough information Saturday to pursue the driver. One man on the scene said he filed a police report Sunday.
We're asking, why hasn't charges been proactively filed? Why isn't this a federal case? And why isn't this person identified yet when the police already saw the video?
Protesters say they want more to be done sooner.
I think what it does is it sends a message, intentional or not, to protesters that their safety is not a concern to the police. And it's a welcome message to other people who might want to perpetrate harm against protesters that they can do so with impunity.
Police say they are still looking into the incident and getting information from people there. Right now, they are still in the early process of figuring out everything that happened. Police also say the information that they get will help determine the next steps. Live in the newsroom, Jamie Mays, WCIA 3, your local news leader.
All right, Jamie, thank you.
As members-only signs go up, street signs with racial connotations could soon come down. Urbana's City Council plans to vote Monday night to rename Plantation Point. 6 people who live there circulated a petition to change the street name, that coming after the murder of George Floyd. Mayor Diane Marlin supports the idea.
It's a symbolic change. It represents, a reflection of the really what's happening nationwide in terms of acknowledging our history and our past and acknowledging the importance of change in this country. So I think this is a good step forward.
Residents suggested the street could be renamed to River Birch Lane or Grace Hill Lane. The city would have to wait 30 days to give the clerk enough time to notify election authorities and the post office before making that change official. School is scheduled to start soon, and a group of community members came together to discuss an alternative idea.
WCIA 3's Demi Ramirez has the story.
A community panel wants to transform education to reflect the needs of the Black community through what they call freedom schools.
They have sort of a freedom school of their own where they can teach more culturally relevant material. They can talk about the social issues and how that impacts them on a day-to-day basis.
The alternative schools got their start in the 1960s, a place for Black Americans to get free education. Now, Champaign County Clerk Aaron Ammons wants to see Freedom Schools make a comeback.
We always hear that all of the children respond different and more engaged and more prideful when there's a history that's directly connected to their ascension within the society or their place within the society or within the world.
While organizers say equality in the classroom is far better than what it was, there is still a long way to go.
And if you look at the individuals that were part of the legit Freedom School journey, we are out here still fighting the good fight on the forefront of these battles. Not necessarily that we have to, be the face of it, but we are out here still putting in that work.
In Champaign, I'm Demi Ramirez, WCIA 3, your local news leader.
Some educators participated in this panel, both from Central Illinois as well as Missouri and then at Northeastern University. Now, Ammons says they host this panel every month, and next month's topic is still being decided. State health officials announced more than 1,500 new cases of COVID-19. One reported coronavirus death is the lowest daily count since March. Most of the state's 171,000 infected patients have recovered. Nearly 7,400 people have died. The number of people testing positive is starting to creep back up as more people go out and about. The 7-day average positivity rate went from 3.6 yesterday to 3.7 today. Governor Pritzker warns 4 counties are reaching warning level status. He says the state could ratchet up restrictions in Adams, LaSalle, Peoria, and Randolph counties if cases continue to rise. And many school districts have come out with a plan on how their students will return in the fall. The Monticello School Board is still discussing options, and the superintendent released a rough draft but has waited to make a final decision. They were waiting for the Illinois Board of Education to release that guideline, and Monticello parent Nicole Durhammer is a member of the parent-teacher organization of Monticello schools. The original plan had called for in-person learning 5 days a week, but the plan may be changing after the survey was sent out to parents.
Nobody's family situation is the same, and nobody's work environment's the same, and what's best for my kids might not be best for another parent's kids.
The school board will meet on Wednesday to discuss fall plans.
Speaking of fall plans, Tuscola Football suspended its summer workout programs due to COVID-19. That includes all camps, weightlifting, and practices that they had scheduled for this week. WCIA 3's sports reporter Marley Weird joining us now. Marley, what more can you tell us?
Well, Mark, there haven't been any athletes that tested positive for COVID-19, but I spoke to head coach Andy Romine, who says several athletes were exposed. He said they were working at a local business this summer where someone did test positive. They've been in contact with the local health department so they can start contact tracing. Romine says the athletes that were exposed will have to get tested, but so far the team has not had any positive results confirmed. The girls volleyball and the boys basketball teams canceled their practices as well, Mark.
And Marley, I imagine a lot of other schools are watching this. We know there's a big decision coming from the IHSA soon. So how does any of this situation we're seeing here as it unfolds, how might this play into the future for fall sports around Central Illinois?
Yeah, well, you said it just there, Mark. I'm sure a lot of school districts just have their eyes on Tuscola right now and how they're responding to this interruption. If high school sports go on as planned, it's possible this could happen again, and that's casting a lot of doubt on the fall season. The IHSA Board of Directors is scheduled to meet on Wednesday, and we're expecting to have more answers then.
All right, a lot of parents and a lot of athletes watching closely. Hopefully they can wrap it up quick. Marley, thank you. Many seniors are concerned about going inside a big grocery store to shop for groceries during a pandemic. The Chris Healthy Aging Center is bringing FEMA food packages right to the trunks of their cars. The center usually hands out food inside their meal locations, but they've started to cut back on allowing as many people inside during COVID-19 to help practice social distancing.
It's more difficult for some older adults to get out and do shopping. This is food that is, pantry food. Pantry food is heavy. And so sometimes it's difficult to get as many groceries as you need to, carry them in, put them away. And so we're just doing all that we can to help.
Vermilion County is serving meals now, but if you'd like to pick up meals at their location in Urbana, you can call ahead to place your order there.
An 82-year-old man was in a wheelchair when a car hit him. Emergency responders took him to Carle Hospital. It happened in Hoopeston near South 4th Avenue and West Maple Street. 82-year-old Patricia Fraley was driving the sedan. She got a ticket for failure to reduce speed to avoid an accident. A 10-year-old died yesterday while swimming at Sullivan Beach.
Today, that community is now coming to grips with yet another tragedy that involves children. WCIA 3's Andy Olson spoke with people who knew and loved Janaya Bennett.
When I got the call from her mom that something terrible was going on, she didn't know exactly any details at that time, just knew that there was, they couldn't find her, she was in the water.
And their worst fears came true soon after. Janaya Bennett died in a Mattoon hospital after being lost in the water at Sullivan Beach. She was 10 years old and going into 5th grade in the Sullivan School District.
My heart was so heavy, thinking about that little girl and how much love she brought to her school friends, her family. There's a lot of people that love her and are going to miss her, and it's going to be tough.
Bennett enjoyed music, reading, and going on adventures. The school district has already announced they will have counseling for kids if they need it, and the family's church is trying to step in and raise as much money for them as they can. They hope they can take care of them as the whole community takes time to heal.
Just the support from the entire community, helping with donating to our New Life webpage and donating there. We have raised a lot of money for them, and I know right now that is the main goal, is to just be able to cover the costs that they need.
In Sullivan, Andy Olson, WCIA 3, your local news leader.
Andy, thanks. This week, the Illinois State Fire Marshal and DCFS are reminding caregivers to take extra care when it comes to kids near water. They say 22 kids in Illinois accidentally drowned last year. One Champaign mother was planning to send 2 of her kids to swimming lessons, but the place they planned to use is no longer offering them because of the coronavirus. Her reason for wanting her kids to learn early is personal.
When you're taking kids out to beaches, lakes, camping, anything can happen. I've had family members, a young one drown from just swimming in regular pool. So it's very important to me.
The Centers for Disease Control says accidental drowning is the leading cause of unintentional death for children between ages 1 and 4. The second leading cause for kids between 5 and 15 as well. Tips for parents to protect kids from accidental drowning can be found up on our website.
All right, and Amelia, it's been another hot day, but we have some relief in sight, right?
That is right. Like you said, temperatures today, we're actually feeling like into the hundreds, but we are going to be seeing a slight relief this next work week, followed by a little bit of rain in the forecast. All the details right after this.
WCIA 3 News is brought to you by Stouts Building